India is the world's fastest growing large economy. From record stock market highs to new metro lines, the headlines are full of success stories. But behind the glitter is a quieter crisis, one that affects almost every family. Jobs. For millions of Indians, finding secure, meaningful work is harder than ever. Why does joblessness persist even in 2025? Who is being left behind? And what can be done before our demographic dividend slips away? In this video, we'll dive deep into the latest data, break down the real causes, share stories from the ground, and explore solutions, all backed by credible sources. Stay with me to the end to see how these pieces fit together and what it means for India's future. Show a quick montage of bustling cityscapes, rural fields, young job seekers, and factory floors. Title: India's Jobs Crisis in 2025. Causes, Consequences, and the road ahead. India's economy is often described as a tiger on the rise, a 4 trillion giant growing faster than most major economies. We're building new airports, highways, factories, and digital platforms at breakneck speed. But if you walk into a railway station in Patna, a job fair in Pune, or a coaching class in Lucknow, you'll see a different story. Long queues of young men and women, our summers in hand, waiting and hoping. Why is joblessness still such a stubborn challenge in 2025? How can a country be both a global growth leader and a place where millions can't find work? In this deep dive, we'll look at the latest unemployment data, unpack the root causes, hear stories from the ground, and explore what India can do to turn the tide, all backed by credible sources. Stick around, because the factors we'll cover affect not just jobs, but India's entire economic future. B-roll, high-speed trains, rural fields, students at computers, long lines outside exam centers. As of August 2025, India's overall unemployment rate stands at 5.1%. On the surface, that might seem manageable after all. Some European countries have similar figures. But a single number can hide multiple crises. Among youth aged 15-29, unemployment is over 13% nationwide, and in urban regions it's nearly 18.8%. Zoom in further, and the regional gaps are staggering. Kerala and Lakshadweep report youth unemployment above 30%, nearly 1 in 3 young people without work. In contrast, Madhya Pradesh sits at just 3%. Urban areas overall show 6.8% unemployment, compared with 4.2% in rural zones. But remember, rural work often means seasonal or informal jobs with little pay or security. It's also not gender neutral. In many states, female unemployment is more than double male unemployment. Some surveys estimate that among graduates aged 20-24, a staggering 44-45% remain jobless. The labor force participation rate (LFPR), the share of working-age people who are employed or looking for work, has fallen from about 47% in 2016 to around 40-55% today, depending on the source. That means millions have simply stopped searching. Graphic, animated map showing state-by-state youth unemployment rates. Let's unpack the reasons. There isn't one villain here. Think of it as a puzzle made up of several interlocking pieces. 1. Population explosion. India adds about 12 million people to its working-age population every single year. That's like getting the workforce of Sweden annually. Economic growth around 6% isn't enough. Experts say we need 10-12% growth to absorb everyone and truly reap a demographic dividend. The mismatch is starkest in government jobs. In Maharashtra, 1.7 million people apply for fewer than 18,000 police posts. That's close to 100 applicants per job, including engineers and postgraduates. This isn't an isolated case. Railway, bank, and clerical exams see similar ratios. Cut to be roll of job exam crowds. 2. Skills mismatch and education. India has more graduates than ever, but fewer employable graduates. Surveys show only 54-55% of graduates meet employer standards. Most colleges emphasize theory over practice. Students memorize formulas but rarely handle real equipment, write production-grade code, or work on live projects. When they graduate, they're out of sync with what modern employers need. States with higher education levels like Kerala often report higher unemployment simply because their youth aim for higher-end jobs that don't exist in sufficient numbers. Meanwhile, vocational training lags behind. Only a small fraction of young Indians receive formal skills training compared with countries like South Korea or Germany. 3. Technology shift and automation and AI are reshaping entire sectors. Think self-checkout kiosks in retail, robots in warehouses, algorithmic trading in finance, AI chatbots replacing entry-level call center agents. By 2030, up to 30% of the workforce may be at risk of displacement. Low-skilled manufacturing, textiles, basic IT support, and routine clerical roles are especially vulnerable. The good news? New jobs are emerging in data science, fintech, renewable energy, healthcare tech, and logistics. The challenge? Most displaced workers lack the digital or specialized skills to transition quickly. Without mass reskilling, millions risk being left behind. 4. Stalled industrial growth between 2004 and 2012. Manufacturing absorbed millions, leaving agriculture. But since 2018, that engine has sputtered. The share of employment in manufacturing rose from 10.5% to 12.8%, then slipped back to 11.5% in 2024. Global headwinds, trade wars, supply chain shifts, and slower export demand have hit labor-intensive sectors like textiles, gems, and leather goods. MSMEs, which employ over 110 million people, are under stress from rising costs and stiff international competition. 5. Rural challenges and informal sector dominance in rural India. Work often means seasonal farm labor or casual construction jobs. It rarely offers a steady wage or benefits. During the pandemic, millions of workers reversed decades of migration and went back to their villages. Many found only unpaid family work technically counted as employed, but providing no real income. Overall, 90% of Indian workers are in informal jobs. That means low pay, no job security, and almost no social benefits. These are also the workers most vulnerable to automation and economic shocks. On screen, 6 icons representing each cause. The government isn't sitting still. Several national initiatives aim to bridge the gap. Skill India Mission and PMKVY provide sector-specific training to millions of youth. Making India and the production-linked incentive schemes offer tax breaks and incentives to boost manufacturing investment and employment. States like Kerala, Rajasthan, and Andhra Pradesh run their own unemployment allowances or skill programs. But these efforts are fragmented and often underfunded. There is still no universal unemployment allowance in India. Implementation can be slow, and the scale of training falls short of the demand. For example, PMKVY has trained millions, but tens of millions more need upskilling each year. Role. Training centers, new manufacturing plants, government ads. Automation deserves its own section because its impact will only grow. By 2030, up to 60 million Indians may lose jobs to automation, mostly low-skilled roles. Yet, India is also seeing rapid growth in IT, fintech, healthcare, logistics, and green energy. These sectors can create millions of new jobs, but they require advanced or hybrid skills. Without large-scale retraining, income gaps between skilled and unskilled workers will widen dramatically. We could end up with a two-speed labor market. One part thriving in high-tech industries, the other trapped in low-pay or no-pay work. This isn't just an economic risk, it's a social stability risk too. Graphics. 2 diverging lines showing income of skilled vs unskilled workers. Statistics can feel abstract. On the ground, the crisis is deeply personal. Take the case of a 24-year-old engineering graduate in Andhra Pradesh who's been preparing for government exams for 3 years. He told a newspaper, "My parents invested everything in my degree. Now I'm back home tutoring kids for pocket money." Or consider the Maharashtra police recruitment drive. 1.7 million applicants for under 18,000 posts. Among them were MBAs, engineers, and postgraduates. This level of competition shows just how tight the job market has become. Optional. Vox Pop clips or still quotes on screen. So what can India do? Here are 4 key areas on screen. Bullet list as host speaks. 1. Revamp education, shift from rote learning to hands-on. Project-based education. Integrate coding, data analysis, and communication skills early. Encourage industry college partnerships for internships and apprenticeships. 2. Expand retraining and entrepreneurship support. Create large-scale, affordable retraining programs for adults. Offer microcredit and mentorship for youth entrepreneurs, especially in rural areas. 3. Invest in technology, green jobs, and modern manufacturing. Use public-private partnerships to attract investment in electric vehicles, renewable energy, semiconductors and logistics hub sectors that can absorb millions. 4. Support informal workers, develop portable social security benefits and training vouchers for informal workers, so they can move into more secure employment. These steps won't be easy or quick, but without them, the much-celebrated demographic dividend could turn into a demographic time bomb. India's economy is growing, but growth alone won't solve the jobs crisis. Without bold reforms in education, skills, industry, and social security, millions will continue to struggle. The numbers we've seen aren't just statistics, they're the hopes and frustrations of an entire generation. What do you think is India's biggest barrier to job creation? Is it education, automation, policy gaps, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if you found this analysis useful, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our upcoming deep dives into India's economy. Together, let's keep the conversation going. End screen with subscribe animation, source credits, and teaser for the next video.